during one of the crazier times our generation has had to try and do that. Throughout the country, we are seeing multiple offers everywhere. House prices are going up. It feels really scary, especially for those of us who lived through the bubble burst back in '07. And I want to make sure that you know why this is happening and what you can do to set yourself up for success. So, let's talk about multiple offers. What does that mean, first of all? It means a whole bunch of people want to buy that house. Someone has brought a house to market. They've said, I would like to sell it. And 20, 30, 40, who knows how many people have come to the table with actual legit real offers. Not just, hey, it'd be cool if I bought it, but they have written a contract. They've got money ready to go. What that does is create sort of an auction effect. And in order to be the one person chosen to purchase that house, you're going to have to get the seller to agree that you're the best, you're number one. Now, in a marketplace, you've got supply and demand. That's what determines prices. So how many buyers versus how many sellers? And right now, there's way more buyers than there are sellers, pretty much across the country. The main reason is because interest rates have been historically low for a very long time. And when COVID hit, the Fed slashed them basically as low as we think they can go and said, hey guys, pinky promise, we're not going to raise them anytime soon. And they've been good to their word. We're a year into the pandemic now, and interest rates have been this low, around 2.5% for the whole time. Now, what that means is money is really cheap for people. And so you have a lot of people who would like to buy homes. The money is cheap. It's a great time. You have less inventory, you have less houses to buy, because we also have a housing shortage nationwide. We don't have as much new construction because a lot of new construction stopped back when the bubble burst, which I know was a long time ago now, but it still affects things. The baby boomers as a generation, a large generation, are not necessarily downsizing in the way prior generations have. And so we have a ton of first-time home buyers trying to get into the market, trying to get their first place. And there just aren't that many places for them to get a hold of. The other thing that this does is whenever you have a lot of sellers choosing not to sell, right? A lot of people who own homes, they'd like to go somewhere else. They'd like to buy a different house and they'd like to move. And they can't because there are so many buyers in the market that the thing they may want to buy also doesn't exist. So you have all of these different factors stacking up to make home buying even harder right now than it normally is. So what do? My advice is, it depends. And frankly, that's my advice for most things in regards to real estate. So get ready for that, viewers. If you would like to buy a home, I don't think any of this is a reason to not. Now, prices are going up and up and up because you've got people vying for properties. The supply and demand are not balanced in a way that is keeping the price of the house stable. The affordability of houses, however, is relatively stable, which seems weird, but because the loans are so cheap, even though the prices are going up some, what someone can afford to purchase is really a pretty good spot for a lot of buyers right now. And I'm going to do a separate video and walk through some of that math on some good old-fashioned pen and paper to help explain that a little bit more. Numbers, you got to see numbers. Me talking isn't going to help you much with that. So how do you not lose your head in a multiple offer situation? Because it can be really easy when you have this dream, you want to buy a home and you find something and it works and you can afford it and it's there, it's real. You walk into it, you get to see it. You get to see what your life would be like. You're reminded of all the reasons you want to buy a home in the first place. And here is an opportunity. This house is for sale, but there's 20 other people who also want it. You have to focus on what you can control. You cannot control all those other buyers. If they want to offer the seller a pony, they get to do that. This is America. If they want to say, I will buy your house and I will also bring a giant bucket of cash for you in addition to what I was going to pay anyway, that is their choice. And they get to make those choices. And you cannot worry about it. What you have to worry about is your personal choices and what's going to work for you, your life, your budget, your appetite for risk, and factor all that in to how long are you going to be in this house. This is not a marketplace for someone who wants to buy a house starter home for a couple of years and then sell in a couple of years. I don't expect the valuation to stay stable enough for that to be a good short-term prospect. Long-term, 5, 7, 10 years, if you're looking to settle down until your little kids are in college, this is fine. This is a fine market to buy in because you're not buying the house for its resale value today. You're buying the house for your life, and the resale value is only something you need to care about when you're getting ready to sell it. If you buy a house today, and next year you go online, you get a lovely email from your realtor and it says, hey, your house is worth X many dollars, and that number is lower than what you paid for it a year ago, that is not going to feel good, but it's also all made up. That number isn't real. That number doesn't matter to your life. Now, there may be a spreadsheet somewhere where you track these things that it matters on, but if you are comfortable with your monthly payment and you like where you live and your home does what you need it to do for you and your family, who cares what it says on paper? When you get to the stage in your life where you're going to sell, that's where you care what it says on paper.